By now you've probably heard that there is a solar eclipse happening on Monday, April 8th here in the US. There's a lot of layers to this eclipse. It's actually a supermoon too, which basically means that the moon is closer to the Earth in its orbit than at other times of the year. So, a couple of things to think about with a solar eclipse. Eclipses are a lot about revealing things that have been hidden. If you think about what happens in a solar eclipse, it's a new moon, which is a great opportunity to set new intentions. But the moon comes between the Earth and the sun, and we are in darkness for a period of that, and then it clears. That's how we get the eclipse. That's how the darkness of it happens. And when you think about setting these new intentions, it's an interesting kind of thought about how you're setting intentions connected to things that have been hidden. So maybe you're thinking about diving into doing some spiritual work that you haven't done, or some emotional work, or even some physical work that you have not been doing in the past. There's also what's called a Chiron Cazimi. Now, a Cazimi is simply when the sun and another planet, or in this case, an asteroid, are in what's called a conjunction, meaning that they're aligned. They're either directly in the same position or they're very close to being in the same position. Cazimis happen with every retrograde at some point. They're the halfway point through the retrograde, but they happen when any planet or asteroid is in direct conjunction with the sun. And what that does is it magnifies the energy because it's the sun. And so Chiron is the so-called wounded healer. And so with this particular Cazimi in Aries, so it's a Cazimi of Chiron in a solar eclipse in Aries. Aries is a fire sign. It's about getting things done and moving into action. And the wounded healer of Chiron, you could interpret this as a way to get into action around your mental health or your physical health. You can also look at it from a perspective of things being revealed about your mental health or your physical health that you may not have known about. And that's not necessarily bad news. But the wounded healer, which is a sign that so many of us who are therapists and healers or helpers, although I don't like that word healer. I'm not a healer. You're healing yourself. I'm just a midwife to help you get there. This eclipse may help you actually zero in on some of your pain points. Again, whether that's emotional pain, relational pain, physical pain, financial pain, and it's an opportunity to get honest about it and to clear it. And if you can't fully clear it, at least start to chip away at it. It might be a time to seek out a spiritual mentor. It might be a time to go to therapy or join a 12-step group. It might be a time to start going to Pilates. It might be, it's up to you to sort out what that is. But it is about stepping into new intentions. It might be about letting go of fear. You're going to know best what that looks like. But when you think about the Cazimi, the solar eclipse, and then also we're in a Mercury retrograde right now, which started on April 1st, on April Fool's Day. It's a good idea to slow things down enough to, when you're all revved up, not just be impulsive and jump into things, but to really take your time. The way I like to think about it, and I follow a bunch of wonderful astrologers, two of whom I want to highlight are Chani Nicholas, her website is chani.com, and Pam Gregory. She's got a channel on YouTube. I recommend both of them quite highly. But when you think about those three things happening at the same time, a solar eclipse, a Cazimi with the wounded healer, right, Chiron, and a Mercury retrograde. Part of what I'm looking at in my own life is the idea of sitting still and getting clearer about what has been blocking my insights, what has been shadowing my deeper self-connection, my deeper connection to others, my deeper connection to my higher power, and then not being impulsive, because with Mercury retrograde, things go kerplooey, and it is a great time to redo things that have not worked in the past, but I have to slow down. That's what retrograde tells me to do, particularly with Mercury. I have to slow down enough to get clear. So for me on Monday, I'm going to get quiet. I'm going to meditate and write and really let myself dive into those places that I don't often let myself look at. Slow your roll and really think about what's being revealed, what you want to help be revealed, and how to help yourself get there. You know, as a psychodramatist, so much of the work that I do is about helping people reveal and get to those parts and those shadow sides that they might not normally let themselves get to. And through the action of psychodrama, it allows us to tell the truth and dive deep into places that we don't typically dive into. And in being able to identify those places and those parts of ourselves that maybe are sabotaging ourselves or are scared to move forward, scared to change, it really allows us to get curious about those parts of ourselves, get curious about our behaviors, our beliefs, our blocks, and then, like the eclipse, the backside of the eclipse, to help clear away that shadow and step back into the light. So if you're interested in getting more information about any of our upcoming trainings, I would be happy to have you DM me, or you can check out our website at theactioninstitute.com. That's theactioninstitute.com. And you can just click on the link in our bio. So I wish you a great solar eclipse, and may you have wonderful revelations, and may every intention that you set come to fruition.